Dependency injection. I'm sure you might have heard this term. If you are finding it difficult to understand, then don't worry, I'm here to help you. Hi, this is Sahana. Today we are going to understand what is dependency injection and its role in ASP.NET Core framework. So, what is dependency injection? Dependency injection is a design pattern. Now, what is design pattern? In a very general sense, we can say these are tested and verified patterns for building software systems. Even you can say they are best approaches for building a software system. Because these are the tested and verified solutions to commonly occurring problems, implementing them in our software system, they save a lot of time. Coming back to dependency injection, this design pattern is all about managing the dependencies. Here, you don't create the dependency, instead you inject the dependency. You will get it better when we implement this pattern in our example. Now, I'm going to show you how dependency injection is related to ASP.NET Core Framework. Let's get started. Open Visual Studio and click on Create New Project. I'm using Visual Studio 2022. Now you have to select the template. I'm choosing ASP.NET Core Web App. Here you can see you have ASP.NET Core MT as well as ASP.NET Core Model View Controller. I'm not going for them. I'm choosing just simple ASP.NET Core Razor Pages Web App. Now, after choosing the template, click on Next. Now you have to fill in the project name. Give some appropriate name to your project. Then click on the Next button. Now you have to choose the framework version. You have different options here. I'm choosing .NET 6.0 and no authentication, and keep rest of the options as it is. Click on create. Now we are going to understand how dependency injection is related to ASP.NET Core Framework. ASP.NET Core Framework has built-in support for dependency injection. This means this framework shares some of your burden because dependency injection is not something ready-made that you can just simply right click and say install. This is just a pattern. There are responsibilities of identifying the dependency, making it injectable, injecting that dependency. It's a tedious and error-prone job. Then what happened? Then many frameworks emerged in the market to make our life easier. These frameworks are called dependency injection container, but they are the frameworks that manage the dependency. There are many frameworks available in the market. The popular IOC containers available in the market are Unity, StructureMap, Artifact to name a few. But speciality of ASP.NET Core Framework is you need not install any third-party tool to implement or manage dependency injection. The framework itself has got such container for us. Okay, we got the point. Now let's get a little bit more technical. Now the question is, how do I implement dependency injection through code? We are going to follow three steps. First is to create the service, then register the service with IOC container, that is dependency injection container available with the framework, then inject the dependency. Now let's start with creating the service. This is the first step. To create the service, we need model, that is the class. What I'll do, I'll add new folder and I'll name it as model, and to this model folder, I'll add a new class and I'll name this class as personal info. Now what I'll do, I'll add two properties to this personal info class. Prop tab. First property is going to be name and the second property is going to be the phone number. I'll change name to string and second property is going to be the phone number. So we have got two properties, name and phone number. Our next step is to create the interface which will have the declaration for the method that will act on this model. To do that, right click on the model folder, say add class. Here you have to choose the interface and name it as iPersonalInfo repository. So we have created the interface. As of now, this interface does not have any method declaration. Now we are going to do that. Get personal info is the method whose return type is going to be the personal info. But we are not going to write any method definition over here. What we are going to do, we are going to create a class that will implement this iPersonalInfo repository. There we are going to give the method implementation. Again, add a new class. This time you have to say personal info repository. Now we have created one more class. What you have to do, you have to implement iPersonalInfo repository. We are going to remove this line and we are going to write the actual implementation for getPersonalInfo method. I'll first create the sample data, declare the private field, which is of the type personal info. Then I'll populate the data inside the constructor. I have made the changes. If you see here, constructor has constructed the data and this getPersonalInfo method is returning that data. We have completed our first step, that is our service is ready. Now we want to hand over this service to ASP.NET Core Framework service container so that it can do the job of creating the service instance. To do that, we have to register our service with ASP.NET Core Framework's service container. Then where do we find this container? I have opened program.cs file. You can see here, first we are creating the builder, that is the web application builder. Then after creating the builder instance, what we are doing is we are adding the services to the container. Here add razor pages is the service and we are adding that service to the container. Add razor pages is the framework provided service. This is not the one that we have created. Whether it is framework provided service or the user defined service like the one we have created, we have to register the service with the dependency injection container. Now what we are going to do is we are going to register the service with framework's dependency injection container. To add the service, I will say builder. We have to add the service to the builder. Then services is the method. I'll say add transient. I'll tell about this add transient in a while, but before that let's complete the code. Now I'm going to write the interface name, that is the service interface. The service interface name is iPersonalInfo repository. We are getting the error because we have to add the namespace. I'll say control dot, it will give me the suggestions. Then I'll add the dependency injection demo dot model because my interface is inside the model class. Then after the interface name, that is the service name, which is going to be the class that implements that service. Here, a personal info repository class has got the service implementation. So I'll add that. Now what we did is we have registered the service with the framework's dependency injection container. Okay. Now we have to talk about this add transient method, right? You can register the service using any of these methods, add scoped, add singleton, and add transient, and they decide the service lifetime. Here is the quick comparison of these three methods. If we take add transient, then the service is created for every request. If there are 100 requests, then the service is created 100 times. Then add scoped, it is a bit different. Here the service is created for every client. If a particular client makes 100 requests, then there will be only one instance of the service. But if a new client makes the request, then the new service instance will be created. Then add singleton. Here service is created when it is requested for the first time. Then throughout the application, the instance remains the same. When the application shuts, then the service is disposed. We are done with service registration. What next? Now we are going to see how to inject the service dependency. If you expand the pages folder, you can see index.cshtml. This is the page which has got the designing part. If you expand index.cshtml, you can see two files here. One is index.cshtml and the other one is index.cshtml.cs. Now we are going to inject the service dependency here. Before that, let's first understand the code. If you see here, index model is the class and it is inheriting from page model class. We have a private field here, then the constructor and the onGet method. Now what I'll do, instead of the logger, I'll inject the service that we have created. Now what I'll do, I'll change the field. Instead of iLogger, iPersonalInfo repository, we have to add the namespace. Control dot, I'll say control dot, then see, here it is giving me the suggestion, dependency injection demo dot model. I'll say yes. I'll declare the field. See, I have changed the field. Now it is personal info. There are different ways to inject the dependency. You can go for the constructor or the method or the property. We are choosing the constructor to inject the dependency. Now I'll modify the constructor. Instead of iLogger, I'll pass iPersonalInfo repository and I'll say personal info. Okay. Now to this private field, I'll pass this personal info object. So now our personal info is ready. Now the next thing is we have a data. Now how to pass this to the view so that we can really see the changes. To do that, I'll modify this onGet method. I'll extract the information from personal info and pass it to the view. I'm using view data to pass the data from view model to the view. Now what I'll do, I'll open index.cshtml file and I'll make changes. What I'm doing here is I'm adding two h3 tags and I'm taking the data from view data, the name and phone number with the help of the keys that we already mapped. Now totally our changes are done. The only thing is we have to run the application and we have to see if it is working fine or not. I'll click on run. Finally, our output is on the screen. We have extracted the name and phone number from our model. Just a quick recap what we have done to implement the dependency injection. If you remember, we created the model class. To implement the dependency injection, what we did, we created the interface with the name iPersonal repository and it is just having the method declaration, nothing else. We created one more class to implement the service. These three changes, our first step is ready, that is creating the service. Then next thing is to register the service with the dependency injection container. That is, we use the add transient method and we just use the service name with the class name which is implementing this service. Now ASP.NET Core Framework's IOC container knows this service, so whenever we need the instance of the service, we are not going to create the instance. Instead, the dependency injection container is going to do that for us. So the third step is to inject the dependency. Where we are injecting the dependency, because we wanted the changes to get reflected on the index page, so we injected the dependency here. Remember, here we are using the constructor to inject the dependency. Lastly, we did the changes to the UI so that we can see the changes on the screen. Finally, our output is on the screen. I hope the session was useful. Do subscribe to my channel. I'm going to add a lot more videos about ASP.NET Core and see you in my next video.